Hi, thank you for joining me for this review of the Xiaomi Mijia Mini 4K 30 frames per second action camera, supplied courtesy of Gearbest.com for review. So it comes in this nice little box. Okay, all illustrated in Mandarin, and if we open it up, here's the camera. So nice, fairly compact, feels a bit heavy, so obviously fairly good quality and good components. Now this has 7 glass lenses, so that will be contributing a bit towards the weight. But the 7 lenses are better for transmittance and clearer image and color. We've got a little cover on the lens here. And here we can see the lens itself. And this is a wide angle lens with a 145-degree field of view. And on the back here we have a 2.4-inch touchscreen with a resolution of 960 by 480. Microphone and speaker holes here. Power button and mode button there. On the side here, a little micro USB port to charge the battery and also to transfer files from the SD card. And that just closes like that. We have the battery bay underneath that opens here, and the battery comes out. And this is a 1450 mAh battery, which should last for about 2 hours, recording at 4K, and a standby of about 4 hours. And if we have a look here, here's the slot for a micro SD card. And this can take an SD card up to 64 gigabytes and recommended class 10 or above. So let me just pop my SD card in here. Goes there. And just clips in there. Put the battery back in here. Now this has the Sony IMX317 sensor. So it's actually very good for low light. So we'll do some tests in low lights. This also has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Also supports time-lapse and slow motion modes. And also has 9 scene photo modes. And in the box we also get an instruction manual. But unfortunately this is all in Mandarin, so my video will be your instruction manual if you decide to get this camera, or you have got this camera. Little bag that the battery came in, and then we get a micro USB cable for charging and transferring data. If we turn the camera on, we press and hold this button on the top. Light comes on here. You can see a light over there. And then we get the screen. Now, when the camera starts up for the first time, it comes up in Mandarin. And make sure if you want English that you select English by pressing English on the touch screen. I unfortunately missed that, so I had to really go deep into it to find the setting to change it to the English menu. But first of all, you get this little icon here, and if you press that, you can get the basic menu here. So here's resolution 4K at 25 frames per second. There's also 2.5K at 25 frames per second, 1080p at 100 frames per second, 1080p at 50 frames per second, 1080p at 25 frames per second, and 720p at 200 frames per second. We just press back to go out of there. We can look at quality, lens distortion, can mute the microphone, can turn the time date stamp on and off, metering mode, EV, and WB. And to go out, we just press the touch screen here again. Okay, now for the main menu, you actually need to slide down here. So pull your finger down, and here we got settings. So we choose settings here. Now you can choose PAL or NTSC, SD card, default mode you can select, the beep volume on here, the LCD brightness, can rotate it off or 180 degrees around, set the time for the auto screen lock, set the time for auto powering off, connect to Wi-Fi automatically, on or off, Bluetooth pairing to pair with a Bluetooth device, in-housing mode, and choose on or off, get a user guide, and set the date and time, and this is where you set the language. Okay, so there, and then the device info and the camera defaults. So if you do have this in Mandarin, go to the third last one, and then you'll be able to press and select language, and then select English, and you'll have the English menu. Let's just have a look at the device info. So it's the Mi Action Camera 4K, gives you the model number, the version number, a serial number, and what the time setting is on it. And to go out, just slide down and go back. So these are all the main menu settings. We go out of there, slide down again. Here's where we connect to wireless. So here's the SSID and the password to connect wirelessly. Now the app doesn't seem to be available in English, so not much point in connecting wirelessly at this stage. Hopefully the app will become available in English to be able to do this, or if it is available, I haven't found it yet. Cancel to go out of there, come back down here, and we've got a lock function. So press down to get back in, get back down into the menu, and then a power button here. We go out there. Now if we swipe from left to right, we then get this menu where we can select video, time-lapse video, slow motion, loop recording, video and photo or photo mode, and also select timer, burst, and time-lapse photo. Slide to go back. Now if we slide from right to left, there's no media or files. You'll be able to see media or files if you do. And those are the features and menu options we have. So let's see how much it weighs. Okay, so it weighs 99 grams. We compare this to a weight of a smaller and lighter action camera, at 58 grams, just over 40 grams heavier than a small action camera. If we look at it side by side, a bit wider, more or less the same with the lens protruding in terms of depth, and in terms of height, more or less the same. But this Xiaomi Mijia has a 3-axis gyro and also a 3-axis accelerometer. So that contributes to the weight, but also helps with the stability. So this should be quite stable on its own. Should work even better on a brushless handheld gimbal. This also has a mount where you can attach a gimbal underneath here. So I'll just be using it and testing it on a normal straightforward selfie stick, not a brushless gimbal. So let's have a look at some of the sample footage I've taken. This is a bench test at 1080p at 25 frames per second. Just to see if I can utilize this as a review. Camera 2 seems okay with the small objects, but the angle is just too wide for the bench on a bigger object, or else my bench is too small. But we'll have a look and see. See how it records a quad in the air.